Hey folks, Phil Gallagher of Thraben U here for another week of Daily Death and Taxes. This week's Daily D&T is sponsored by an anonymous donor. Okay, so there's a story behind this deck list that we're going to play this week. So Goblin Lackey was posting in a chat about how Winota could potentially be playable in Legacy, and I said, if you ship me a list, I'll play it. They shipped me a list, and well, it looked pretty rough. So then, of course, we've spent like 2 hours messaging back and forth trying to polish up the list and see where we can take it. And this is the result. This one's been sitting in the queue for, I don't know, a week or two at this point. And I finally figured it was the appropriate time to go and try it out. I had like a Chrome Mox build and a Yorion build I wanted to try out first, but like now it's time. Let's see what we can do with this. All right, so I know if you're a legacy player, like you probably don't know what this card is, so I'm just going to read it real quick. Whenever a non-human creature you control attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put a human creature from among them onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. It gains indestructible until end of turn. Put the rest of the cards on the bottom of the library in a random order. So in order to support this card, we need a mixture of humans and non-humans in this deck, which has resulted in a really weird combination of creature cards making the cut. So, for example, Giver of Runes being a non-human here is an upside. Blade Splicer being a human that produces a non-human is a pretty big upside. And similarly, some token producers that are going to produce lots of tokens that can go and trigger this and put humans into play is really interesting. And PNK is kind of like Blade Splicer in that it's a human that creates non-humans and it can spiral out of control very quickly. So essentially what we've done is we've made the traditional D&T shell kind of have a pseudo combo finish. In that, like, say you have 2 or 3 creatures in play, and then you play Winota and you get your attack in successfully, all of a sudden you've probably doubled the number of creatures that you have in play, or very close to it. Sometimes even more when you're hitting things like Blade Splicer and PNK, and then it snowballs even more out of control the following turn. Whether or not this will be viable, who knows? But like these videos should be really entertaining. In order to support Winota, we've added red to the deck, and because Winota kind of emphasizes some aggressive elements, we're going to try Lightning Bolt as the removal rather than Swords to Plowshares. So we're going to lose the flexibility of removing some larger creatures, Tarmogoyf in particular, but we're going to gain the ability to send these upstairs to finish off opponents. The sideboard is kind of geared at beating unfair stuff with Chalices and Leyline of the Voids, and then having outs to things like Ogos in red Elemental Blasts and Council's Judgments, as well as Cunning Sparkmage for smaller creature decks. Again, this is one of those like humans that you can put into play off of Winota. Although, admittedly, when it's put in tapped and attacking, that's kind of hilarious, given, the whole 0 power thing. Let's go ahead and just try this out and see how it goes. This is an entertainment week. But, let's see if we can 3-2 or better. I'd feel real good if we did.